name is Griffin Chisholm, and I research microplastics. While researching, I learned a lot about microplastics, like that they're in all of us, and that they're everywhere on Earth, even on Mount Everest. I also learned they take a very long time to biodegrade in the wild. Here, you see my model. It shows a lake trout fish. On the other side, you see the lake trout's stomach. Notice that the stomach is full of microplastics. This fish may soon die. Over here, you can see my microplastics graph. It shows the microplastic life cycle. I really enjoyed researching microplastics, and I hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Luis, and I research spirit animals. I learned that human life is connected with animal life. Spirit animals can help humans turn negative situations around. Spirit animals are symbols of our inner self, meaning they are with us in spirit, proving dynasty and strength. Sometimes they can guide you through choices which can determine your path in life. Spirit animals benefit from the relations with people too. This is my hands-on project. His name is El Gato. I picked four animals of spirit. One is soul of a wolf, which I would talk about when I say this. Second one is head of an owl, wings of an owl, and tail of a coyote, and a bear body. Now, you can see here why I'm choosing wolf. It's because it is kind and loyalship. For the bear's body is mostly of a king of spirit animals. For owl, an owl represents death. There is a myth that when an owl hoots, that means it has taken someone's soul. A coyote is playful and a jokester. Spirit animals are everywhere. I hope you like this.
Hi, I'm Jude, and this is my project on invasive species in the Great Lakes. On this side, you can see photos of the 3 most effective invasive species in the Great Lakes. However, on this side, you can see diagrams of invasive species on the Great Lakes showing depth, dominance, and amount. I learned about the electric barriers and how they keep Asian carp out by sending shocks through the water. I also learned about invasive species like mussels that get into pipes and or destroy them. These are all the things I learned about invasive species in the Great Lakes. And lastly, this is a diagram of the electric barriers. And you can see like Michigan's on that side, the Mississippi River's on that side, and there's a distance, and it shows everything.
Hi, I'm Shay Arnold, and I studied prehistoric fish. Prehistoric fish were the first species ever to walk on this earth, or swim. They came around 530 million years ago, microscopic and had no jaws. Scientists studied their fossils to learn more about climate change and how future changes to marine life. In extinction events, some died and some are still alive today. This picture shows the timeline of fish and coral from the prehistoric times. This timeline shows jawless fish and how they died off. On my hands-on model, I showed a prehistoric fish jaw to represent how they did have jaws first, but then later developed them. A fish that died off millions of years ago, and a fish still alive to this day.
Hi, my name is Charles Kabak, and my report was on the bombing of Pearl Harbor. There was a lot of interesting things I learned, but I'll say the most interesting. The atomic bomb, which was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killed around 214,000 Japanese citizens. And you probably didn't know, but the Japanese had 7 miniature submarines that went through Pearl Harbor. And the craziest one of all, out of the estimated 1,512 men on the USS Arizona, only 335 got out alive. And here is my hands-on model. It's just a little replica. I have a battleship right here to represent the tons of battleships that were there. In fact, the Japanese main thing was to sink as many battleships as they can on the thing called a Battleship Row, I believe. I have a general right here. Some guys trying to bomb planes with grenades or explosives, don't know. Plane in the sky right here. A dead guy to represent the 2,403. 403 people killed, or 2,000, sorry. And I have a broken plane right here because the 347 aircraft were destroyed, so that represents that. And then back here is the USS Arizona, as I was talking about earlier. Well, that's about it.
Hi, my name is Braden Bonner, and I chose to research black holes as my topic. One thing I learned about them is that there are different sizes of black holes. One of which being supermassive, being the biggest, interstellar being the second biggest, intermediate the second smallest, and miniature being the smallest. There are also different parts of a black hole. There's the event horizon, so if anything goes inwards past the event horizon, it cannot come out. And then, all the matter that goes past the event horizon goes to the singularity. The singularity is where everything goes. Anything that goes into the black hole follows the accretion disk. The accretion disk is a circle of matter that spirals into the black hole. There are also different ways a black hole can form. One of which being a sun 3 times the size of our sun dying. And then a matter being squished into a very small space can also form one. This model is the way things get sucked into a black hole as it goes past the event horizon into the singularity, actually. This project was really complex at times, but it was also really fun. That's it.
And this one has X rudders because when it turns, they only have 1 instead of 2 because it downsizes in weight. And so this already weighs a lot just because of the type of metal they use for the interior on the missiles, the tanks for gasoline, and all the extra like communications and communication devices and like steering. That all has extra weight. So they built 1 rudder out of a less weighted metal, basically. And since it has less weight, that means it can move faster for geography. Plus, it's smaller, so it carries less stuff, but it gets there faster back and forth other than bigger submarines. And as you can see right here, this shows data graph on nuclear energy used in a submarine, and most of it is weapons. Weapons carry the most nuclear energy, other than power survey, because that's mostly like energy, power from like power. And then this one is use of radioactivity materials in different countries, and it shows the dates from 1970 to 2018. And then we have like Western and Central Europe, East Europe and Russia, South Africa, North America, Asia, and Africa. The most is used in North America, and the least is Eastern Europe and Russia. Now, this is use of energy on a nuclear submarine. Most of the energy is from the natural use of gas, just because there's so many different elements. The least is renewable energy. They don't really use renewable energy because nuclear energy can last for 30 years without being replaced. So it's used for 30 years, cooled off for 5 years in a big pool. But the problem is about that is that they have to wait so long and they can't buy new. So they have to new energy, so they have to use coal, which pollutes water and air. And that is one of the things that they're trying to cut down on because it pollutes the water from the atoms in the coal and how they mix with all other items on board. And yeah, that's nuclear energy for submarines. So this is an example of nuclear fission used to power submarines, nuclear submarines. The ping pong balls are atoms, which I said earlier is 97% plutonium and 3% coal. Now, if you were to have 90% plutonium and 3% coal, it would last for longer. But if you were to have 100% coal and no plutonium, it would go for about 5 years and it would not be renewable. Now, these ping pong balls are atoms and the mousetraps are nuclear reactors. When I put a unknown substance, it might do anything, it might not do anything. See, didn't do anything. Now, if let's say I put more coal in it, it does something.
Hi, my name is Liliana GT, and I researched great women around the world and in science. A few things that I learned were 1. Margarita Hack's best friends were asteroids, and their names were E to Vu, Z to Her, Omega 2, and 59 Cygni. 2. A queen named Siandoko of Silla was the first queen after 26 kings. 3. Yoko Ono, a famous artist, was accused of being the cause of the famous band, the Beatles, to break up. I had quite a few options for my hands-on project, but I chose Yoko Ono's famous art piece, Apple. Point of the art piece was to connect the spiritual senses with the people that bit out of the apple. First photograph is Japanese old money with Queen Jingu on it. The second picture is a painting of Wang Zhenyi. The third is Zhang Zhang conducting an unknown orchestra. That was my research topic on great women around the world and in science, and I really hope you like learning about that.
My name is Tristan. I'm a 6th grade student in Frankfurt Elementary. My entire project is about buoyancy. Buoyancy was formulated back in 250 BC by a Greek mathematician named Archimedes. Archimedes' principle is shown right here. Archimedes was a Greek mathematician who discovered buoyancy. Buoyancy allows ships to carry masses of cargo, and it allows ships to float without sinking. Also, buoyancy allows submarines to sink and float. They have this special tank called pressure hulls that allows them to surface and submerge, which allows submarines to go underwater and above water. And this shows how Archimedes' principle works. My hands-on design was a ship, a curved ship designing to show how the water pushes up on the object, so then it will float, because on the bottom it has a curve, so it has more weight to push up. But if it were just a flat bottom, it's sink.
Hi, my name is Alice Luther, and I put together a research project on tagging and tracking sharks. 3 things that I learned that I think are really cool and are important are tonic and mobility, Tonic immobility is triggered by a shark turning upside down. It's a sleep-like state that can help with the tagging process. It's shown in this picture here. The second important thing that I learned is that there are multiple different types of shark tags. There are spot tags, stick-on tags, Velcro tags, zip tie tags, and electronic satellite tags, all working towards the same goal. The third thing that I learned was that accelerometers, or these things, are not only used to track sharks and track their depth and pitch of their dive, but they're also we also use them every single day. They're actually the thing in our phones where when you turn your phone, the screen turns with it. So I thought that was really cool. For my hands-on project, I based it off of one shark called Lydia. She is a female great white shark that is 14 feet, which is the length of this string, and 6 inches. She weighs 2,000 pounds. This is the actual tag that was placed on Lydia by my uncle, Nick Whitney. It goes over, again, accelerometers, her length, her weight, and her track from Jacksonville, Florida, to the UK and back. This image here shows the different ways you can measure a shark. The fork length is to the part right here, where it goes from the tip of the shark all the way to the fork and the tail. And then there's also the total length, which again goes from here, but then it goes all the way up here. When tonic immobility is not available for tagging sharks, sometimes researchers will put tubes in through their mouth that will push water through their gills to make sure that they don't die. Over here is another shark path from 4 sharks, Amy, Kimmel, Tail Scratch, and Annika. And then over here is Mary Lee, 16-foot great white shark's track. Sharks are an important piece of our world that are sometimes scary. However, there are actually more deaths from vending machines than sharks, so there's nothing to fear. We need to make sure to help sharks as they are declining very quickly because of a soup called shark fin soup. That's where they actually take the fins of the sharks off and throw them right back into the water to drown to death. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Cole and my topic is on the migration of birds. I learned so much while researching this. For example, did you know birds can actually die while migrating? For example, they could die by running into glass and getting stunned or starving to death. One thing that also extraordinary, you can see on this graph that 2.9 billion birds have died since the 1970s. One other thing that extraordinary me was on this graph. You could see that the Arctic tern can travel 60,000 miles when migrating. My hands-on model shows the dark-eyed junco sitting in a cherry tree in the habitat it is in after migrating. Over on the left, you can see 2 birds, the bluebird and the flinch. The bluebird travels from Michigan all the way to Florida, while the finch travels from Michigan all the way to Alabama. Before learning this topic, I knew so little, but now I know a lot. Thank you.
Over here we have a generator that is providing electricity to our houses, and you have the power lines that takes the energy and provides it to our houses. And if you come over here, you have the nuclear waste that is running into our river and lakes, and you have the dead animal
and the bombs because it was killing everything. And you have the nuclear power plant over here, and you also have our little houses, and you have the lakes and all the different animals.
Hello, my name is Logan, and I am currently a 6th grader at the age of 13 years old. What I have done for my topic is the evolutionary theory. Some things I wrote in my theory that have the most information on them are Charles Darwin, mutation, and scientists. Charles Darwin was born in 1809 and grew up to be a ship's naturalist in the HMS Beagle in 1831. But what he is most known for is his evolution theory. He made a book on it, even that was called The Descent of Man, and this was made in 1871. This was based on people being at the bottom of the food chain to going right to the top in the span of only a couple hundred years. So, since I explained who made the evolution theory, now I'll explain what my photos mean on this trifold.
Hi, I'm Ava, and today I'm going to tell you about coral reefs. I researched coral reefs to learn about what they need and what they do to help other ecosystems. 3 things that I learned were that climate change hurts coral reefs and fish are super important to the ecosystem. The last thing I learned was that they protect the earth. For my model, I made a replica of the ocean and did a before and after of bleached reef. For my pictures and data, I showed the before and after of a bleached reef and the population of coral reefs. Coral reefs are an amazing ecosystem, and I hope people take care of it.
Hi, I'm Ella Sweeney, and for my research project for the end of the year, I researched Standard Rock Lighthouse in Lake Superior. Standard Rock is the farthest lighthouse offshore in the United States. Being 25 miles offshore of Marquette, Michigan, it is located on a reef, as you can see in these 2 pictures, and it was made to protect people from sailing into it that were sailing on Lake Superior. This structure behind me is a hands-on model that I made to represent Standard, and as you can see, the lens is the light, the fog house is where all the controls were, and the crib is the base of the lighthouse. This first picture is the light in my lighthouse, and these 3 are maps that represent where it is. Finally, this picture is the lighthouse surrounded in ice just after a little tiny storm. It can get to over 12 feet of ice surrounding it. Finally, I hope that you found my research project informational. If you would like to learn more about it, there's many websites on Google.
Hi, my name is Max, and I'm here to talk about Archangel Tree Archive and ancient trees. Some things I've learned is that a fully matured tree can remove over 250 tons of CO2, and that 70,000 acres of redwoods burned down in the year 2020 alone, and that trees can pollinate other trees, making the genetic chain stronger. So this is my hands-on project. It's showing a 6-foot-tall male next to an oak tree, next to the largest giant sequoia in the world, next to the largest redwood tree in the world. These are some projections. These 2 are some projections about the temperature over time and the parts per million of CO2 over time. And this is a data graphic showing the tree coverage in the world. And this is a giant sequoia next to just some regular people. This is a clone tree in its incubator, and this is someone going up and getting a clone of a tree. I hope you learned something new about trees.
Hi, my name is Carson, and my research topic is crystalline. 3 things that I learned were how Crystal Lake was formed, how long and deep it is, and I also learned what types of fish are in this lake. My hands-on project is a diagram of Crystal Lake and also has sand around it with houses. This points to the deepest point in the lake. My photos resemble the depths in the different parts of the lake. I really hope you learned something from this and about this lake.
Hi, I'm Ashlynette, and I researched about endangered animals in Michigan. I picked 3 endangered animals to research about, and that is what I'll be talking about. Something that I found out about one of the endangered animals is that the Indiana bat got white nose syndrome, and that is what makes them endangered, as well for northern long-eared bats. And as you can see here, this bat has white nose syndrome, and it's a fungus that grows on their nose and makes them really sick. The copper-bellied water snake is endangered because of habitat loss. They live in wetland areas, and so if it gets messed with a lot, it can really harm them. And then down here, the Indiana bats are also endangered because of being too clustered in caves, and they don't have any room for some of them to hibernate, which is why they also die. And then right here we have my graphs, and here it shows all the places where there's white nose syndrome and where the bats are mostly getting affected. And then down here, there's the endangered animals in the U.S. And the red part is where it's mostly getting affected. And then up here, there's Canada, the USA, and Mexico. And you can see that Mexico is the most affected. But in the U.S., we still have quite a few endangered animals.
Hi, my name is Weston Hutchinson, and I learned about the Frankfurt Coast Guard and its importance and its operation. My hands-on model is an example of the Frankfurt Coast Guard chopper. And my data graphics and pictures are a map of where the Frankfurt Coast Guard is, the area of responsibility, the boat, the chopper, the 2 buildings, the main station, living station, and the boat parking, and the boat parking. We should help the Coast Guard and even protect ourselves and know the importance of the Frankfurt Coast Guard.
Hi, my name is Kylie Cascanet, and I am researching the Royal Frontenac Hotel. Here behind me is the hotel and exactly what it looked like. I learned that the hotel stood for 10 years and that there are many theories of how the hotel burned, but it is unknown. The construction of the hotel started in 1889. In the middle of construction around 1901, a very strong storm blew over all of the completed building. The workers had to start all the way over, costing around $50,000 to purchase new wood, and that would be equal to $1,589,607 now. The hotel finally opened July 1st, 1902, and in the first couple of years, over 1,200.
Hi, my name is Javier, and I am a 6th grade student from Frankfurt Elementary. And my whole research project is about prosthetics. 3 things I learned during this research project is the prosthetic material. Another thing is prosthetic fitting. The last thing is mind control prosthetics or amputation stumps. My hands-on project represents a real-life prosthetic. Also, the joints right here allow the fingers to move. The nerves are the brain signals the nerves to move the finger. Another important thing about prosthetic is the arm straps, because without the arm straps, the prosthetic would just fall off. Same thing for a leg, but it's called a leg strap, as you can see on the picture. Prosthetics were used for many things in 1510. And on this picture, you can see the cycle of prosthetics. I hope you loved learning about prosthetics as much as I did.
Hi, my name is Axel. My research is Alexander the Great. He was a warrior, explorer, and a king. He was the king of Macedonia. He wanted to conquer most of the world. So the places he conquered, he named them by his name. My motto shows Alexander the Great having a war with Grantzius this war was fought at the Asia Minor. So yeah. So this was the Macedonia team. They're blue. And this is the Grantzius team. And the name of the battlefield was Asia Minor. And also, there's some graphs on this. So the top one is this is the route where he took as when he was an explorer. This is the yellow stuff on this one is where most of his land is. The red arrows is his route when he was exploring. And on this one, it shows all the places he named by him. And also, there's also these two pictures. This one's, I think, his second war when he was fighting. I forgot what team it was, but I think it was Grantzius. This was when he got his horse. And also, this picture right here is when he won his first war. And these are also my essays.